It didn't empty slowly. Collapsed in seconds. Thousands of Filipino fans, flags in the air, chanting so loud the stadium walls seemed to shake. And then nothing. Silence. Folded flags. Empty rows. Footsteps echoing off concrete. Welcome back to Tennis Flash Official, your home for everything ATP and WTA. Today we're breaking down the night that shut down the Cincinnati Open. Alex Eala walked off that court and took the soul of the entire tournament with her. A 21-year-old from the Philippines had somehow become the single biggest draw at a $7.4 million event. And the moment she was gone, organizers were left staring at rows of empty seats, asking themselves one question. What just happened to our tournament? Let's rewind to the start of the week, because to understand that silence, you first have to understand the noise. But before we get to Cincinnati, let's talk about how a 21-year-old from the Philippines even got to this point. Eala isn't some overnight sensation who appeared out of nowhere. She came up through the junior ranks as one of the most decorated players in the world, and she made the jump to the Pro Tour with a game built on flat, aggressive ground strokes and a return of serve that troubles even the very best. What's changed this year isn't just her ranking, it's her belief. Players who used to beat her comfortably are now the ones fighting to survive against her. The Lindner Family Tennis Center had been completely taken over. Philippine flags on every railing. The food court serving adobo and pork lumpia. The merch tent sold out of flags by day 2. And every single night Eala stepped on court, the place was packed, loud, and electric. One commentator said it best. It felt less like a tennis match and more like a basketball game. Fans were paying close to $1,000 on the resale market. Not for a final, not even a semi-final, for a second-round match. Tournament officials confirmed that 80% of every ticket inquiry that week centered on one question. When is Alex Eala playing? Not Sabalenka. Not Swiatek. Not Goff. Her. A player ranked 20th in the world. And this wasn't new. In Washington, 80% of ticket requests traced back to her fanbase alone. In Toronto, organizers physically relocated her matches to center court because the grandstand couldn't hold the crowd. A 10,000-seat stadium sold out every single night she played. Cincinnati had been warned. It still wasn't ready. It's worth pausing here to really appreciate what's happening across an entire region. This isn't one city, one lucky crowd, one viral moment. This is 3 straight tournaments, Washington, Toronto, and Cincinnati, where a single player ranked outside the top 15 has single-handedly reshaped ticket demand, food service, and stadium logistics. That kind of sustained pull across an entire summer swing almost never happens with a player this young, this early in her rise. August 17, 2026. Late night in Cincinnati, Ohio. Alex Eala versus Amanda Anisimova. World number 10, 2-time Grand Slam finalist, former world number 3. The match ran 2 hours and 28 minutes, and almost every minute of it hurt to watch, in the best way possible. The first set was a battle of will. 67 minutes of grinding pressure. The 5th game alone stretched 20 minutes. 13 deuces, 8 break points saved by Eala. She held her nerve like a player twice her age, broke serve in game 10, and closed the set 6-4. The stadium exploded. Flags everywhere. Set 2 was tighter. Both players holding serve through 6 straight games, until Anisimova found one clean break, protected it, and forced a decider. 1 set apiece. Eala came out flying in the 3rd. Held serve, broke straight back, went up 2-0. The noise came roaring back. And everyone in that building, everyone watching at home, remembered she'd done this before. 2 wins over Sabalenka. A win over Swiatek. Wins over Rybakina and Pegula. 9 wins, 4 losses against top 10 opponents coming into this match. She was about to do it again. Then came the moment that broke a million hearts. 5th game of the 3rd set. Eala reaches 40-15. 2 points from a commanding 3-2 lead. All the momentum in her hands, and drops 4 straight points. Just like that, Anisimova took the lead and never let go. 6 of the last 7 games went to the American. 3 breaks of serve. Clinical, ruthless tennis. Final score, 6-4, 2-6, 6-2. Eala walked off the court that had been her home for 7 straight days, and the whole place fell silent. Flags folded quietly. Fans filed out without a word. The roar that had defined the entire week was replaced by nothing at all. Then Amanda Anisimova stepped up to the mic, and nobody expected what came next. "I know Alex is such a great player and such a fighter. It was a really tough match," she said. "Expected so far. But there was quite a bit of support for me tonight, and I really appreciated it because I know how loved Alex is, and for good reason." Then with a smile, "I really needed that pick-me-up tonight because honestly it's past my bedtime." The crowd laughed, but underneath the joke was something significant. A world number 10, a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, standing at the winner's mic and openly admitting the crowd had shown up for the other player. That the stadium belonged to Eala, not her. That just surviving that match was something to be proud of. Think about that for a second. That's not a commentator's take. That's not a journalist's headline. That's the winner, voluntarily telling the world that Alex Eala earned every fan in those stands. The Eala effect isn't just real. It's powerful enough that the players beating her feel compelled to acknowledge it. And it's worth noting who Anisimova is. This isn't a rookie caught up in the moment. She's a 2-time Grand Slam finalist who has played in front of the loudest, most hostile crowds tennis has to offer. For someone with that resume to publicly credit the atmosphere to her opponent tells you everything about the scale of what Eala has built in just a few months. Now let's talk about the morning after. Because while the heartbreak was emotional, the financial reality was brutal. The Cincinnati Open still had 7 top 10 players left in the draw. Sabalenka, Swiatek, Goff, Pegula, the best women's tennis on the planet still competing. And yet, without Eala, the entire tournament felt hollow. Here's the truth nobody in tennis administration wants to say out loud. The Eala effect had become the tournament. A $1,000 resale ticket for a second-round match. 80% of ticket demand tied to one player's schedule. A food court that added Filipino dishes mid-tournament just to serve her fan base. Merch tents that sold out of Philippine flags within days. Cincinnati hadn't just benefited from Alex Eala, it had built its entire week around her. And the second she was eliminated, the energy, the revenue, and the atmosphere walked out the door right behind her. That kind of dependency is extraordinary. And honestly a little terrifying if you're a tournament director, for a player ranked 20th in the world to carry that much commercial weight. This isn't just a feel-good story. It's a measurable financial phenomenon. And Cincinnati felt every dollar of it the second she was gone. Tournaments are usually built around the very top of the rankings, the Sabalenkas, the Swiateks, the Goffs of the world. What Cincinnati just experienced flips that entire model on its head. It raises a real question for tournament directors everywhere heading into the fall swing. Do you plan your marketing, your food vendors, and your ticket pricing around the official seedings, or around who your fans actually want to see? Right now, for a growing number of cities, the answer is clearly Eala. But here's what the scoreboard doesn't show. This loss doesn't define her. Not even close. She's 21 years old, already with 9 wins over top 10 players this season alone. She won her first WTA title in Washington, beating world number 3 Jessica Pegula in the final. She reached the 4th round at Wimbledon. And she just pushed a 2-time Grand Slam finalist to 3 sets past midnight in Cincinnati. Her record against the world's elite now sits at 9 wins, 5 losses. She carries the hopes of an entire nation every time she steps on court. And she does it with a composure players twice her age haven't figured out. The U.S. Open begins August 30th at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in New York. And for the first time in her career, Eala is expected to be seeded in the main draw. Last year at Flushing Meadows, she made history as the first Filipino player ever to win a Grand Slam match in the Open era. This year, she arrives as a genuine contender. Washington proved she can win titles. Toronto and Cincinnati proved it's no accident. And New York is a different animal entirely. The Billie Jean King National Tennis Center holds over 23,000 fans in Arthur Ashe Stadium alone. If Eala's fanbase can sell out grandstands and force resale prices to $1,000 for a second-round match in Cincinnati, It's worth asking what happens when that same energy lands on the biggest stage in American tennis, under the lights, with a grand slam on the line. Losing hurts, it always does. But the players who become great aren't the ones who never lose. They're the ones who come back after they do. The silence in Cincinnati that night was real. The heartbreak was real. The empty seats, the folded flags, the hollow feeling in a stadium that had been electric just hours earlier. All of it was real. But so is this. Alex Eala is just getting started. She's 21, ranked in the top 20 in the world, with 9 career wins over top 10 opponents and a fan base that will follow her anywhere. In 2 weeks, she walks into the biggest tennis tournament in America. Seated, experienced, and hungrier than ever. Cincinnati went quiet. New York is about to get very loud. If you're riding with Alex Eala through every step of this journey, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. How far do you think she goes at the US Open? Let's talk about it in the comments. This has been Tennis Flash Official. See you in the next one.